Hi guys, welcome back to Finding Your Indies. Bonnie Paulson, and we are going to jump into a PSA for authors, public service announcement for authors with regards to marketing. Okay, so first we're going to talk about the turmoil that's going on right now in the industry. There's a lot of things that are hitting and a lot of things that are missing. And that I think ultimately comes down to, do you have your community in place? Where is your community located? And are you meeting the expectations and needs of your readers? Remember, your readers are the ones who pay the bills. So while I have met a lot of authors who love their readers and love their fandoms and do the things, I've also met a couple of authors who are like, I don't care what my readers think. I'm going to do whatever I want. That's okay to an extent, but at the same time, remember, you are delivering a product, a service, an experience, and if you're not delivering the correct kind that they're expecting, you might be taking a hit in the wallet as well as in reviews and as well as in read-through. That might not be important to you. That's okay. That might not be the channel for you then, if that's not as important as I would think it would be for me. We're going to talk about now, so if all that stuff is in place, you've got your brand strong, you're being consistent in your delivery, it really doesn't matter if you're direct, if you're wide, if you're KU, it doesn't matter if you're just on Radish, if you're in Ream, honestly, it doesn't matter. What matters is how you are utilizing the space that you are inhabiting, okay? So for instance, if you've been direct and you went direct for like 6 months because you were like, hey, I'm going to be on this big, huge trend and whatever, I'm going to tell you right now, 6 months is not long enough. Okay, 6 months is not, that's a sprint. In this industry, that is a sprint. You have got to stick with it, stay strong, and keep going. Keep building your audience. Now, I hear a lot of people saying, oh, but I'm not making enough. I need to go back into KU. That's okay. These decisions are okay to make. Sometimes it's really great to kind of ease into it. Maybe you have half of your products in KU and half of your products direct while you're trying to build that environment and build that community on your direct stores, or even just wide. Readers are out there and they want to find you. And then I guess you need to make it easy. So how are we going to do that? Well, the first thing let's talk about is the AMS or Advantage ads. It's early. It's Saturday. I'm still tired from CEX. So AMS and Advantage ads, and I had to take notes, so forgive me if I keep looking away. For number one, the cost is going up, and here is why. Now, I've had discussions before about my whole philosophy on authors completely destroying the algorithm, and we'll talk about that again a little bit later. But authors destroying the algorithm, you guys are also allowing Amazon to raise the suggested bid, and you are taking the bait. A friend of mine who is an engineer, software engineer, programmer, he'll yell at me if I say it wrong, so I'm going to put out like every single synonym for what that could be. Genius on the computer. He told me once that something, and I'm going to get the story wrong, of course I am. He told me something along the lines of, at Amazon, they were sitting there and they were wondering how they could, this was like kind of in the beginning of AMS ads, and they were like, we need to get more money. And so what they did is they took the suggested bid and they just upped it by like 10 cents, right? And they made millions and millions of extra dollars. Like that, this makes me sick, by the way. Extra dollars that month alone, simply because they tweaked the suggested bid. Now, when I started doing AMS ads about 9 years ago, it was like 2015, 2016, somewhere in there. I have to tell you, the suggested bid was like 21 cents. I mean, it was like ridiculously low. Now the suggested bid, the default bid is 75 cents. That is for up and down. And I'm not going to lie, that means that you could be at a minimum 75 cents and at a maximum for dynamic bid up and down without doing anything else. It could be $1.50 a click. Okay. The suggested bid that I just saw for a standard contemporary romance, let's say, I did see one for Nora Roberts, Megan Quinn. So Megan Quinn, she's usually in the top 100, phenomenal brand, great books. To get on hers, I saw a suggested bid for abroad was, for a broad keyword, was like $1.72, which is not why I'm aghast. That's ridiculous, but here's why I'm aghast. Because for exact, it was $2.97. $2.97 to get one click. Now I'm going to tell you a little secret. My clients are getting 32 to 67 cents on the Megan Quinn clicks, the CPCs. They're not paying the $3. because I refuse to let Amazon charge them that kind of money for something that is not going to give the return. So let's say that they need 5 clicks, that like 5 clicks to get 1 sale. Okay. Let's just say, and let's say they're in KU, which means if you're not pushing a 250,000 word book, you're not going to be getting as much as you think you are. So let's say the book's priced at $3.99. That's what, $2.70, $3.15, something like that for a 70% return. That's crazy. So let's say it's $3 to get that 1 sale, $3 for that 1 sale, that 1 book. And let's say that there's a 5-book series and they have a really strong read through of maybe 32%, maybe 60%, but we're going to go crazy. 60% full read through on 5-book series where every book is like they get $3.10 or whatever the breakdown is of 70%. So let's say that we do all of that. So they got maybe $15 maybe on read through. So that's maybe, okay? So like, let's just say that's what it is. I'm not even getting into that. Let's say 100% of readers who, if they read book 1, they read through. So if they sell book 1, they're guaranteed to make $15 on that series. Okay, guaranteed. Let's say they need 5 clicks, which is ridiculously low. They need 5 clicks to get 1 sale. Okay, but their clicks are $3 a piece. So they got 5 clicks times $3. You're looking at $15 to sell 1 book, which is going to give you a $15 return. This is ridiculous. Let's take all that aside. Let's say you're just trying to sell 1 book for $2.99 and you're paying $3 a click. You just lost $12. Like, this is ridiculous. And you know why they're doing that? You know why they're doing the suggested bid? Because we let them. And people are clicking on it. They're clicking the suggested bid. Look, you don't have to do suggested bid. You don't even have to go high. I've explained before in previous videos. I have explained in our AMS course actually coming out pretty soon. Like there is, you do not need to give in to these price wars, I guess. Maybe they're price wars. Is that what we're going to call them? Like, we can call them price wars, I guess. Because you don't need to. You can literally give yourself limitations and give them limitations and boundaries. They will eventually work. So it's kind of funny because I always refer to AMS ads as long game. And Facebook is more of a short game. Well, let's get away from just the CPC right now, the bidding and whatever. Let's talk about the cost is going up and why. Okay, let's talk about this. So they need money. I know some people who work at Amazon and they're having some budget cuts. So they're having budget cuts, not at Amazon, but in the book area. Okay, so let's just start with that. So they're having budget cuts, which means they need more money, right? Let's up the suggested bid. Let's make it more expensive to use. AMG users have been cutting back. There's not as many people in there. So the inventory is higher. Inventory is for AMS is people who can look at a tablet, look at a screen and see like a lock screen image, which we've seen them. They're beautiful. And I'm not saying they're all like everybody's pulled out. They obviously haven't, but right now is a perfect time to try to get in and get some lock screen ads, but go for cheap, like $100 a run. Okay. Make it short, maybe like a 1-month hit, because right now the inventory is opening up because people are not making their money back. They're having budget cuts. We talked about inventory is also up. The searching. So if you're searching in the wrong categories, which again, this comes back to authors being honest. If you're searching in the wrong categories and you're like, hey, and then you're like trying to put your book in the wrong category, you are messing up the algorithm so much that that's also costing you, if you're running AMS ads or anybody else who's running it, it's costing them more money, right? Because you're essentially paying for clicks, but at the same time, you have to get seen. Like you're wasting impressions when you could be using your impressions on something else. And yeah, I know that they're trying to shift over to the CPM model. I get that. And that's like whatever. Like I don't really like, if you've hung around at all, you know I hate the CPM model, but I get why they're doing it. So again, though, that's more inventory. So I don't know. I just feel like if you're watching what you're doing and you're being careful, I would really stick with like a 32 to 42 cent bid. If everybody did that, we could really control some things. We could really get some more activity. Now, if you're just like, I'm going to do that, but you know a lot of other people aren't going to do that, then chill out, because most people are out of budget by 10 a.m. because they're paying the higher bids. The lower bids will come in and they will actually get seen. They'll get seen and get more activity later in the day. So just something to think about. Okay, so let's move into Facebook ads really quick. We've got a lot of things going on with Facebook ads. Over the last 6 to 8 weeks, we've had a lot of changes in the Facebook platform. And we have noticed that sorry, it's really loud at my house. I don't really have a lot of time to edit today, but I thought I wanted to put this PSA up. So I have like 6 kids and 5 of them are boys and they're constantly fighting. Anyways, okay, so Facebook ads, I'm going to talk about some things. I did take notes. Number 1. 6 to 8 weeks ago, you might have noticed a drop. So this would have been like at early April. Some people noticed it like right at the end of March, maybe the last 2 or 3 days of March. A lot of my clients noticed it almost mid-April. It was like the 10th to the 15th, somewhere in there. And yes, we did have fluctuations. People were stressed out about getting their taxes in, like all of the things going on, right? Like it's fluctuations. However, what was happening was Facebook was rolling out Gen AI. They are still in the process of rolling this out. What this did, and they also opened up some new interests, which was really exciting for me because I am a targeting. I am a restricted targeter. I do not do unrestricted targeting. I don't agree with it. I don't believe in it. And I've noticed that people who do that, they're starting to notice, oh crud, I don't know how to get my ads to work. They're stopping, and so they're having to make some pretty drastic choices right now. And I feel like, like if you are making these decisions and you're not understanding who you are, who you're trying to address or who you're trying to market to, and you're just letting Meta do it for you, or anybody for that instance, if you're letting TikTok do it for you or you're letting Google Ads do it for you, I feel like you're if you want a place to put your money, I'll give you my Venmo thing and you can just dump your cash at me and I'll at least tell the people I know what your books are about, right? You're going to get more actual return on that than you are just letting these big companies do whatever they want. What I'm getting at is unrestricted targeting is only going to take you so far. Okay. I've been working with some people. We have it's an inexpensive audience, a Facebook ads audience course up. And the people who've been taking it have been loving it because they're like, oh my gosh, my ads are actually doing something, because we talk about messaging, we talk about audience, we talk about targeting, right? These are important things. It's actionable. It's something that you can do after, I think the whole course is like an hour. And so it's you can be up and have a correct audience within an hour and a half, maybe, depending on how well you do the steps. I don't know. Do you follow steps? What is so important about this, though, this changes, and I talked a little bit about what the Gen AI changes are that are coming through with Facebook right now in my last video with CEX with Mandy, and we were talking about it. The Gen AI is, and I'm just going to go into a little bit deeper right here, not too deep because I would like to do a video that expresses how you can utilize this, but already we've been seeing where headlines, text and stuff, they're AIing and suggesting things, which seems really weird to some of the suggestions I've been getting for some, I have some authors, and some of the suggestions I'm like, I don't think we're talking about cinnamon rolls the same way. It's really different. But what is so interesting to me is that we're already using it. We've already been using it. The first time it rolled out, though, there was a huge glitch in delivery. And there was all these issues that Facebook had, and they opened up interest. And I thought, oh, great, this is awesome, right? Okay, we have a slight lull in our ads and stuff. This is fine. It's great. It's whatever. But it was just a Facebook thing, right? That's all it was. We even have construction going on in our house. It's fine. But the part that I really is getting me right now is people don't know how to pivot from this. Facebook's algorithms are based on activity on websites. It's based on activity on your page. It's based on your messages. And so when it does a reset, have you ever used ChatGPT and you go in and you use a brand new chat or a brand new messaging line? I call them threads, a brand new thread. So I have different threads for different things, and this will all make sense in just a second. So if I'm going into ChatGPT and I'm like, hey, I'd like to talk about tomato recipes, which I do that. I'd like recipes for tomatoes. Can you help me do that? And then I go into a whole brand new thread and I'm like, hey, I'd like to talk about those tomato recipes that you made. Chat was literally what just happened? I don't know what you're talking about. Because you train each thread, you train each conversation, right? Based on what you want to talk about, based on how you want to interact with it. And Facebook was doing these things, and it was yeah. And so all of our AI was doing really well, and everybody was trained and stuff. Their pixel was trained, which it should have been. And it should have been, which is great. However, everybody's planning on it staying that way. And that's not the way that it works. Facebook has reset things. They have changed some things around. They've introduced new tools like the Gen AI, which is based on image usage. Like they're doing all of these things. They're rolling things out, and we're assuming that things are going to stay the same. They do not stay the same. They're very, very liquid. Okay. Now to say that, your pixel is still trained. If you're using a third-party data aggregator like Customer Labs, or I can't think of what the other two names are. I use different ones for different things. If you're using these, what they do is they actually get even more data from your Facebook account and from your pixel activity that they also place on your site or whatever you're using, and they help you like return your dollar faster. Does that make sense? Like they help you get that return in a tighter, better way. Facebook only lets you have a certain amount of information. These third-party aggregators help you get a lot more information. So for instance, Facebook will only let me go back 180 days, but one of my favorite ones actually lets me go back like 365 days. That's a lot of information for who might have been at my website or who might have been clicking on my newsletter links or on my reader links or just like basic traffic information, right? Like that I normally have. So there's a lot of like things going on inside of the Facebook realm. I'm a huge fan for targeting, and I think it's super, super important that yes, AI also like gets hit, like it gets hit and it gets reset and the things happen. It needs to be retrained. That's why we have lulls and ups. However, there is something else going on right now that could be affecting the way the AI is working. And this is just recently, as you know, the celebrity blockout that's been happening on TikTok since the Met Gala. And I think, I'm checking my notes because I took a lot of notes. So right now, AI is taking this hit. Facebook algorithms and stuff are fine. Like it's fine. It's settling back in the way it should be. But again, if you are relying on your AI activity, the meta activity for them telling you who to go to, this is why this isn't going to work. Okay. If I click on something on a website, if I'm looking up, for instance, I don't even know who, I think it's Izzy Pop is a name of one of them. I have to ask my kids. So let's just say Izzy Pop or Ariana Grande, whatever. I don't even listen to these people. I don't know who they are. If I want to go and do a search on them because I'm wondering what's going on, I have just added them as an interest to my activity. Okay, so now I've been on the Ariana Grande site or Izzy Pop. I think that's a soda. That sounds like a soda pop. Anyways, whatever. Okay, so but I've been there, and so now my pixel's like, oh, this person also likes this. And then if I'm like, what is going on with this thing over here, or what's going on with this thing over here? If I'm starting to reach out and look things up, anything that I look up actually triggers my pixel. Now, a lot of these companies actually use their pixels to create lookalike audiences as their marketing. Ultimately, what they're doing is they're creating these lookalike audiences based off of certain parameters. Okay, so if you like this person and you're in this demographic and you're in this country, you're most likely going to like these shoes. For instance, if I was a shoe company. But let's say all of these people who don't like to buy shoes off the internet, like some people don't like them, and they're all going to this specific store, not because they're like participating in blockouts, or they're participating in some kind of a research study, or they're just trying to figure out like what everybody else is talking about. That information is going to really screw up the algorithms. And I think that's like fundamental AI knowledge for the algorithmic, like what they're doing, the algorithms and what they're all supposed to be doing together. It is the fastest way to confuse the AI programs that they're using for these things. It's really funny because I saw somebody else who was like, hey, if you go to their websites and you leave things in their carts, that's another way that's going to mess up everything. And it does. These activities mess things up. And so as we're like doing these things and we're like expecting certain behaviors to come out through the AI, I want you to remember that if you know your audience and you know your targeting, this should not be harmful for you. It hasn't been affecting the CPC or anything on our end. I have noticed I've had to make small tweaks when I'm doing like book bundles and direct store ads, but most of the time I don't have to do that much. It's been really nice as we've been moving forward. A lot of clients, a lot of people, a lot of authors have taken a hit through April, and that's because of the different fluctuations going on, not just with sales, but with a whole bunch of things, like with the reporting being off a little bit there at the end of April, as well as the ad, like I said, the ads it was weird, but things are starting to swing back up as we're heading into the readers woohoo for the summer. I just really want you guys to remember that things happen, fluctuations happen. If you are delivering to your community and you're doing things to keep them coming back and you're not doing it in such rented spaces, this is going to be where you shine and other people are going to kind of fall behind. And I'm not saying don't do KU. I'm not saying you have to go direct. I'm not saying any of that. What I'm saying is it doesn't matter where you're at. As long as you're meeting your readers and you're meeting them where they're at and you're helping them find the best books for them that they can find, I think that's where success is actually going to come in. You're being consistent with your message. You're being consistent in your deliverability, and you are actually staying true to who you are and staying true to your readers. I don't think this means you have to be like 1000% accessible by them. I just mean that this means that you need to understand who your reader is, understand your message, and deliver it in a way that is affordable to you, sustainable to you, and also increases your reader's experience. I'm trying to check my notes and see if there's anything that I'm missing, but overall, you guys can do this. Like, understand your targeting. There is no easy way. Quit trying to cheat the system. AI is out to get the dollar. Like Meta, AMS, they want your money. Okay, if you're doing TikTok ads, great. If you're doing Google ads, great. Like, great. But you have to understand that their goal is to get as much money as possible. They don't care about you. You are a small fish. There are companies out there who are spending millions a month, millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars a month on ads. You and your $500 a month ads or your $10,000. I have some clients who spend $40,000 a month. It's nothing. That's nothing. In the whole scheme of things, they are a small, tiny fish in this huge, huge pond. And if you stop advertising on Meta, it doesn't matter to them. They have somebody else who will come in and take that space. So rather than give up the opportunity of advertising and just like letting them take your dollars, take back control, understand your targeting, understand your audience, and take back that power that we used to claim 5 to 6 years ago, and don't let anybody else have it. Understand your community, understand how to deliver to them, and understand how to get their data so that you can constantly newsletter them, text them, meet them on your own forum. Like, there's lots of ways that you can keep people and not have the space be rented in someone else's area. Like, this is fine. Author Nation is doing this right now where they're doing, they have a community. If you go to community.authornation.live, that's where their community is. They don't even have a Facebook group because they know that Facebook glitches. Do you remember when Facebook went down not too long ago? Like, went down. It was like down. Nobody could get on for like 3 hours. It was absolute chaos. And it was chaos because I can't tell you how many emails I got from clients. They're like, did you do something to my account? I can't get in. And I'm like, I literally can't do anything to your account because I have my own access. I can't do anything. I couldn't have done anything. And so if we are acknowledging the fact that the less we are giving power to these other companies, the better our information and stuff will be stored and the better our tools can be used. Does this mean stop having ads on Facebook? No. What this means is make sure you are collecting the data that you should be collecting and putting it to use in the correct way that you should be using it. So gather the information, get your magnets out there, get your information, get their pixel information so you can send them more magnet information, get their information, get them onto your space. Oh my gosh, that was like the longest PSA ever. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Again, I don't mean to sound like I'm like being like the reprimanding mom or like the school teacher who's like, no. But seriously, now I think is when people are starting to see that unrestricted targeting is very, very detrimental. We need boundaries. These companies need boundaries. We need to make sure that we're giving them the appropriate boundaries before we give them their money. It is a service that they are performing for you. You need to make sure that you're using it correctly. Oh my gosh, that starts me on a whole nother thing. Like, I won't go into it. All right, click like and subscribe. We would love to hear from you again. Follow us in our free Facebook group. We've got lots of information all over the place. We have some free, like a lot of free products and resources on our site at findingyourindy.com/grow-here. I think it might just be grow. I don't know. It's already so much. If you guys have any questions, again, I look forward to hearing from you and seeing you on the author side of things. Thanks.